Now, our own Jonathan Jones reports that the Niners have granted permission for star wideout Deebo Samuel to seek a trade. Now, this comes after Samuel asked to be traded in exit interviews after the season. He also requested a trade back in 2022, if you remember, before ultimately signing that 3-year, $72.5 million extension. The former All-Pro wideout is coming off a little bit of a down year, posting just 51 catches on 81 targets. Samuel has one season remaining on a 3-year, $71.5 million extension. Jonathan Jones is with us for the very latest on this situation surrounding Deebo Samuel and the 49ers. JJ, catch us up to speed. What led to this moment and what are the next steps here?
Well, this was a very logical next step. Really, we foresaw this dating back to late August. Let's go back to that point. The San Francisco 49ers are entertaining potential trade offers for Brandon Ayuk because they could not get a deal done. Was he going to go to the Pittsburgh Steelers? Perhaps the Cleveland Browns? Maybe another team that was in there. And then, in late August, they were able to reach an agreement on a 4-year contract extension for Brandon Ayuk. And at that point, it became clear that Deebo Samuel was in his final days with the San Francisco 49ers. I can tell you that about midway through the season that the Niners were preparing to potentially ship off Deebo Samuel before the trade deadline. But we know that about 7 games into the season, Brandon Ayuk tore his ACL and MCL against the Kansas City Chiefs, and that meant that Deebo Samuel couldn't go anywhere for a Niners team that had hoped that they could make it back to the postseason. We know, of course, the season did not go the way that they wanted to. After they got past the trade deadline, again, you talk about that down season, and both sides understanding that, yes, 2024 was very likely the end for Deebo Samuel in San Francisco. So now the Niners will hope to trade Deebo Samuel. It'll be interesting to see what sort of trade compensation they can get for the former All-Pro wide receiver, as you see so many of these great college talents coming out already pro-ready in year one. So will the Niners accept a 4th-round draft pick for him or something along those lines? We'll have to see, but he and his agent will be able to speak with other teams ahead of the start of free agency on March the 12th, and we should see if they can find a dance partner, a trade done at that point, and see Deebo Samuel with another group.
Okay, time will tell. We'll look forward to that, and we know you'll keep us updated on the very latest, JJ. Let's get elsewhere around the league here. As we know, there's been plenty of discussion surrounding the future of Aaron Rodgers and the Jets heading into this offseason under new management and, of course, a new head coach in Aaron Glenn. What is the very latest surrounding Rodgers' situation?
Yeah, the absolute very latest is that what we have been reporting for about 2 months now. Aaron Rodgers is not expected back with the New York Jets. And so you talk to one source, you talk to another, whether there has been true finality and an endpoint. I think both sides certainly understand what the deal is, that come March 12th, the new league year, Aaron Rodgers will not be a New York Jet, that he will be a free agent, that he will be able to sign with a team of his choice and move forward with his career if he so sees fit. He's 41 years old. He did play better as the season went along, certainly in the second half of the year. Will a team want to take on Aaron Rodgers, who certainly has the talent of a top 32 quarterback in the NFL? But we also know everything else that comes along with Aaron Rodgers. We have seen that play out for the better part of the past half decade. And so that's going to be the question for a number of teams as we enter into another spring of a quarterback carousel. I'll just say this. There's one team out there that's been bandied about, the Tennessee Titans, right? They have Will Levis. We know that they don't want him to be the week 1 starter. Maybe they could have a veteran presence in Aaron Rodgers. And I'll just connect a couple of dots for you.
Okay.
The president of football operations for the Tennessee Titans is Chad Brinker, who cut his teeth, who came up for about a decade and a half with the Green Bay Packers. He knows Aaron Rodgers. He knows the people who have known Aaron Rodgers for quite some time. I do not see the Tennessee Titans wanting to go after Aaron Rodgers, okay? I'm not saying that it certainly will not happen. I'm not willing to sign over a firstborn on this. However, I would be very surprised and shocked if it were to happen. And so we will see as these teams kind of go through and figure out who they can re-sign and who they could keep and where they're positioned for the draft. If some team absolutely wants to have Aaron Rodgers, but there's no doubt about it, he is not going to be a New York Jet in 2025, just as we have been telling you for some time. That has been the expectation. That continues to be the expectation moving forward.
All right, interesting. We'll wait and see. You know, Jets have the 7th overall pick in the upcoming draft. We have heard that the Titans might be willing to trade out of the number 1 pick. What kind of move could Tennessee potentially make, and what would it take for them to really trade that pick, JJ?
All right, Jordan. So what is today? It's Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah,
it's February the 9th.
Right. Yeah, February 9th.
Right. And so we have about 2.5 months before the NFL draft. We have the Titans with the number 1 overall pick. We're 2 weeks before we even get to the NFL scouting combine, when some of these quarterbacks are going to go through MRIs and have their medicals, when these quarterbacks are going to be interviewed. Then they're going to go to their pro days, and they're going to put some stuff on tape. Then these quarterbacks are going to come into the Titans facility, and they're going to interview for their top 30 visits. All those things haven't been done yet. But what we have heard from Chad Brinker, what we have heard from Mike Borgonzi, the new general manager, is, hey, we're open to anything. We're open to picking at number 1 if there's a generational talent there, be it quarterback or pass rusher or otherwise. We're open to trading down. Can't trade up at number 1. That hasn't been figured out yet in the NFL. But, I'm just telling you this. They could do that. They could not do that. It's February the 9th. The draft is in late April, and they want to keep all the mystery and intrigue because it does them no favors at all right now, a month before the start of free agency, to let anybody know what they were doing. If you are the Titans, you want everyone to come to you with their best offer, and right now, you're not getting anyone's best offer on Super Bowl Sunday. So yes, the Titans could be open for business until they're not open for business, but I think they rest on this Super Bowl Sabbath.
Incredible insight, as always, from our own Jonathan Jones, who joins us live from the Caesar Superdome from the site of Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans. You can catch all the latest NFL news, highlights, scores right here on CBS Sports HQ. It's all here, and it's all free.